didn't walk in here for this. I came here to talk about my law practice, not to get ripped up like this. I will leave.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. No. Leave the Pacificos. You can just let it get. Yeah, it's like, no.
I brought the beers.
No, so I think
I will take my beers.
I'm glad the week's over. So I'm assuming you had an interesting
It's a
week.
long week. It was a long week.
Right. What happened this week? I'm like, what's on your mind, sir?
Oh man,
what's on your mind? Let's deep dive. What you got in here, man?
I guess it doesn't matter because I could always cut it out. Because if I get into the wrong stuff,
yeah, you can always,
almost went to trial on a case that I wish I did go to trial on. Consequences were too high though, and it was a package. So it resolved. Man, I'm trying to keep that so coded, huh? Wow.
It's good. Because, you can't. But I'm just curious, like, all the things you face. Because, I mean, okay, the show notes, what's your, all this stuff here?
I feel like I'm disconnected from the people. I feel like when I started off as a lawyer, I kind of understood the people because I understood how to be a person and not a lawyer. And now I forgot how to be a person and just a lawyer.
Yeah.
And I'm having this disconnect. I'm having a disconnect. Like, why am I not getting across the issue here? Or am I just now lowering my expectation from what I expect?
So they don't understand. Or there's something that is being like missed out in translation.
I'm thinking that I'm not making these terms as simple as possible.
Okay.
Whereas before I used to make them really simple because they were simple for me.
Right.
No, not simple like they were easy. I meant I think you could probably describe what it is to draw a tattoo or make a tattoo when you first started and all the things that you messed up about. Because it's that first time and you're like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Right.
And now that you've done it so much, it's like, do you remember the time you didn't know how to actually make a tattoo? I don't know how to.
No, it's hard.
So that's me right now.
Yeah.
But do you remember that time when you didn't?
I remember, but I don't, because that could psych you out sometimes, I think. Not psych you out, but you might, I feel like you move on and you forget about that time in your life because you're so locked into what's the present, especially if you have like your appointments. So you have your clients, right, that are dates to meet and things like that, right? Like to show up to the court, you have the cases and the situations or like whatever's going on in these different like the trials. I can tell you whatever I'm doing within the month. I'm not thinking, oh, I remember when I did that first, Dia de los Muertos tattoo, or when I first did it. I don't ever think about, now I just think about executing it with the knowledge I know. At the end, like we were just saying, the reward aspect is at the end after you created something. And I feel like that it's parallel as far as in your case, I'm sure it's rewarding to have a person being like, okay, I get it, versus not. And you're like, okay, that's the frustrating part.
And it used to be easier when we got it.
Right.
But now I feel like there's a disconnect because I'm not able to explain the law to people as much as I used to, I think.
Yeah.
I think I know the law too well now, where I don't know how to translate that, be that translator to say, look, this is what's happening. Because it's the same questions over and over and over and over again. Not in a bad way, but it's the same questions like, well, what are we missing here?
Right.
What are we missing here? There's nothing in here.
What are your notes like? What's your I guess like your strategy, or what's your
here's my strategy.
Your system of taking the notes of.
So I started thinking. I was sitting in court and I started thinking, what are people always asking about? Why is it this? Why is it that? They're not really getting it. So I try to talk to them. I say, okay, what is it? What kind of crime are you looking at? Is it a felony or misdemeanor?
Yeah.
This is just easy stuff. Are you going to prison? Is this probation? Is it a strike? Is it not a strike? That's just the easy stuff. I think they get that stuff. Negotiating, court process, people get it. People understand how to try to get a deal. Right to speedy trial. I started writing all of this thinking, okay, this is all stuff that needs to be known, but I'm thinking that's all so boring. Do people really want to know that stuff? How do you speak to your lawyer? That's the only thing I started thinking about. Like, maybe people need to learn how to speak to the lawyer. That's kind of arrogant, right? But
so with somebody that doesn't understand the law to begin with, you think they're just focused on that prize versus like instead of understanding
how
why
you're going to get there and why you're going to get there and what we're doing and why didn't you do that thing? And it's a constant. Well, do you understand what we're trying to build? And I don't expect the person to, but there could be I'm kind of a little upset because you don't understand that. I don't understand. Well, I understand. Someone doesn't understand. I'm feeling that grapple, right? So I'm thinking, okay, listen to your attorney. Try to stay focused. Provide as much. Sure. What is this, PBS? You know what I mean? Right? Okay. I'm thinking, okay, then what are my common misconceptions? The DA and the defense are in cahoots. They're on the same side. That's the one that I see a lot. The district attorney and the defense attorney are on the same side. It must be that way because they may be getting along.
How do you come up with that conclusion? You just because of the part experience, part from analyzing, and also like reading the room in a sense, or
hearing the room.
Okay, hearing the room. Yeah,
it's a common statement. Not necessarily on a case that I have, but just on any case.
Yeah,
it's just that there must be something else going on. There's another deal. There's another agreement going on with the judge, with the district attorney, with the defense attorney. There must be something else happening because what I expect to be happening isn't happening. Maybe it's the expectation issue. Maybe there is an expectation issue. So that's the only one that I seem to have gotten stuck on. Is that the misconception? Is there a trust issue? Because this isn't just me. This is kind of everybody. This is like every attorney.
Yeah.
This is every attorney's complaint. Why do you want me if you don't think that I'm actually trying for you? Either you want me or you don't want me. Either you trust me or you don't. Or are we going with I don't trust you? Or I'm just not going to trust anyone. Maybe I'm just not going to trust anyone. And you're the one that I can kind of trust.
Right. Because you're like, hey, I'm on your team. I'm literally like calling the plays here. I'm the quarterback.
I have to be the quarterback. If you gave me the ball, I have to be the quarterback.
Right.
Are you ever going to trust a quarterback?
You kind of rely on the quarterback.
you can, hey, this is kind of what I want. This is what I need. This is what I expect. But at the end of the day, once the ball's snapped, quarterback's going to have to start to make decisions.
Right.
So now you've put your hands on another person's thoughts and abilities and strengths and weaknesses.
Which sucks because you can't really assume the person has common logic or the common, how should I say it? Like the education of, okay, like we obviously know there's an action to something. This person, guy, girl created this action that is in, breaking some law, but it's like, you go to pull a card in class back in the day. And it's like, how do I reverse that card? Well, let's see how bad that...
may not be.
Right.
You may not be able to reverse
it.
You
may not be able to reverse it.
No.
And it's like, okay, I know I committed this crime, but it's how do I get the best end?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Okay, I know I've committed this crime.
Right.
Okay, hypothetically, I know I've committed this crime. I'm okay with that. Yeah. I can get garbage thrown on me from the streets, from the people. That's fine. I've committed this crime, but I accept it if I have, and I've already said I have, and now we can talk about how to fix and go forward from that. But if someone can't accept that, then there's a problem.
Right.
If they're innocent, hey, we got to fight this too. That's a whole different story.
Yeah.
But at some point, where do we go?
Right. So that you're doing this constant tug of war with people where it's like because they may or may not already be free. Right. You might be representing somebody that is currently, behind bar, in jail, or they may not, and they just meet you, but
they may be out of custody,
or they may, yeah, right. So they might have this agreement or whatever, and it's like they're trying to go to resolve this issue, and so it's like, how do you? I mean, you're caught up in this tug of war with this person, yeah, where it's like they want.
Well, you have to dance with them.
Right. Right.
Who's in the lead?
Yeah.
You have to give away the keys and the control. And ironically, in criminal defense, a lot of what you see is, I've gotten to this point because I've lost control of my own life.
Yeah.
But then that person wants to also take control completely of their case and even how their attorney moves. That's not going to be good. Because, hey, maybe you're not driving correctly right now anyways. I got the wheel for a reason.
Yeah.
But I need to somehow be able to explain certain things easier. I think I'm missing that part. I feel I'm getting older.
Yeah.
I'm disconnecting from the generation. I am.
You're getting older with less compassion.
Get off my lawn. Get off my lawn. Hey, I have this legal problem.
It's like a werewolf. You're fighting it every day. It's like a werewolf, huh?
I love Matlock.
Yeah, okay.
He was always trying to eat a hot dog at the courthouse steps.
Yeah.
He just wanted to eat a hot dog.
Right. That's
and
right.
then they always came and ran at him and said, hey, something's going on. You got to get over there.
You can't get a bite of that dog, dude.
And then he had to run over there.
Can't get that.
He never got to eat.
He never gets that ball Frank, man. The ballpark Frank, That's crazy. So then what?
You're the connect.
Okay.
I need you to help me connect with the people. I don't know how to speak to people anymore.
Yeah. And you're also dealing with...
You're like, I'm not taking that weight.
No, it's hard because I could sit here and say I understand you because there's a shift of, like you said, the modern like society per se, right? The modern...
It's pretty cool.
You like that? Yeah,
like
it's
that.
super adjusting. It's like...
I'm sorry, I took you off that
It's
thought.
easy? No, it's easy.
I took you off that thought.
Because I'm talking like, okay, so... From what I've observed, yeah, right. It's like it's so. At first, I didn't think it was gonna be so.
You're being funded by the cartel. What is going on here?
I'm not.
This is. Are you being serious?
Thank you, Papi Chapo. Yeah, I'm kidding.
What's happening here? Do I have this like too much on my face?
You want to know something funny? I've had these for the longest. I just never had a chance to use them.
This is the first time you're using them?
Well, I was waiting for this. I
don't want to be a serious lawyer anymore, Omar.
All right.
I'm leaving you thinking of.
So that's kind of what I was going to say in parallel. There's entrepreneurship now. I feel like that's the next, like I tell my kids, if you're,
now
I'm
it's
telling.
a rough one.
It's a tough one.
That's a rough one.
It is a tough one. But you're going to get out what you put in. That's the reality of it. So in essence, they say, and you might know this for sure.
You could blame the mirror.
So this quote stuck with me. I couldn't work a 9 to 5, so I went self-employed.
5 to 9.
Right. To work 24/7.
Yeah, that too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I got my
but at
own
least
business.
you're free.
Right.
To be your
What's free though?
To be your own prisoner.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I can't hang in a 9 to 5, so I went entrepreneur route and I opened my own business. Now I work 24/7.
It's because you can run away whenever you want to run away.
Yeah.
You can take off to the store.
There's a lot of
You can work on a
luxury
Saturday
to it.
morning when everyone's asleep. You can get up on a Sunday night.
This.
You could do this. Look what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like, dude, it's like it's like us building the treehouse.
This is more than a treehouse.
This is my treehouse,
This
dude.
is you're running away. This is what you're running away to.
Welcome to my treehouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Where's Omar? Oh, he's just in a shed.
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah.
Look at having a good old time over here.
And you know what's
shed.
funny? I could have just got a tough shed. I was thinking about that. I could have just went this whole regular route.
We're not in a tough shed right now.
This is not a tough shed.
Why do I feel like we're in a tough shed and we're in a big
But that was an idea.
trailer being moved by the
That was an
CIA
idea
right now?
I was gonna get. Yeah.
It's currently
We're in a
moving.
mobile.
What are you talking about?
It's a mobile studio.
Yeah.
Guys. Yeah. It's a studio on wheels. I was thinking, it would be cool.
Cast.
Right. I was thinking I was gonna build something out of a tough shed big enough to do something like this.
This is it.
And this is it. Yeah.
I mean, this is beautiful. Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
This is nice.
Thank you.
I mean, I had to fly in here to get here.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How's the Airbnb? Is it accommodating? No,
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? You were by the high school, right? Is that where I put you? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, look at this.
Yeah, right. No, I think so. This is like we're able to build big tree houses.
This is where you get grounded to, right?
Yeah. This is my this is my dog
grounded.
house. Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
This is dope though, man. I think now it's another revelation of last time you were in here. I was trying to fill out the space when to actually have a
That's
guest
a horse's
on.
ass.
Yeah, straight up.
That's a horse's ass.
Coming out from the glories of heaven.
I guess if you're fighting or just Oh, it's just jumping out of heaven. Okay.
Yeah, this is the back view of that horse. That's the great battle of the gods, dude.
So this is the beginning?
Yeah, this is when we have a lot of the Titans that were released, and then we have the great sky, the Titans battling on Earth, and then you have the gods fighting, duking it out in the sky. But at one point, the demigods, this is where they kicked in. So they were actually able to get, the Perseus. Hercules wasn't, apparently, according to the Greek mythology, was not present during this war. But you had Perseus, you had a lot of the guys that, because Zeus had like thousands of kids, he just show up in your mom's room.
It's like the heavens threw all the gods out, huh?
Yeah.
He would just show up in your mom's room.
Have you ever seen Lucifer, the show?
No.
It's actually, it
Everyone
seemed,
tells me I should watch that.
it seemed cheesy, corny.
Uh-huh.
But I just for a second took a step back and like from the whole series show thing, right? The trash TV thing. And I'm thinking, this is a brilliant show because now Lucifer is walking amongst us almost like this, like he got casted out of hell to live amongst us.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes, it's actually pretty good.
Is he a good person?
So here's the thing. He's actually feeling the human feelings of attachment. Right. So now I'm thinking of perspective.
It's like a puppy.
I'm thinking of perspective, but he has that like detective power kind of thing where he's like, you can tell me your sins. What are your deepest desires? And he does this thing where it's like Jedi mind tricks or whatever. And the guy's like, oh, I'm not going to talk. Actually, I do have these. And he starts like saying whatever the sin is, right? Like and he's like, oh, grant your wish. Like the little diablito, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so he's talking to these people, but he's also helped. Now he's starting to get a little to a cop detective girl, starting to kind of feel a little feels for her. You know what I'm saying?
Is she supposed to be looking for the evil and all the bad?
Well,
and
it's like solving crimes.
But she's falling in love with the devil?
Well, no, she's really resenting too. It's like, dude, you're crazy. And he's like, oh, come on, girl. Like, but she's actually giving him the cold shoulder. It's an interesting show, dude.
Romance. Look at this.
It's an interesting show.
The devil has feelings and romance.
Right. I'm thinking about that.
This is where we're at in the
they have all
modern mythology. Huh?
Yeah, it's funny because I didn't. Again, I would see that show come up, and it just reminded me of back in the day, like Angel, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right. So I'm thinking, that sounds so corny and like cringy. And then I had a client had it, he like she was watching it, and they were watching the whole like series, so they put it on, and I'm listening, and I'm tattooing, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, I had to stop and look up, and I'm like, wait, so now he's walking, he resides in LA, like the best place to live where it's like crime, debauchery, right? Uh-huh. And he's like, he owns a nightclub, and he brought demons from hell with him to run this nightclub.
Okay, but are they good?
Well, no, they're
all bad.
They're all bad. But Lucifer's the one that's like, and then they kind of say, hey, you're slipping, dude. And he's like, no, it's like, hey, you're getting those human like attributes. And it's an interesting show because I'm thinking about demigods, how they once the same thing, like proclaimed to have walked amongst people and were like that. Oh, you don't mess with him. He will wreck you. That's Hercules, dude. He's the son of Zeus or whatever, right? And it's like can you imagine though? Have you watched The Boys?
No.
Okay, The Boys is, imagine superheroes, us, society, like we all have this superhero gene because now it's like some sort of thing that can be created from this injection that a mom once had, and they were doing
it mutates, or we just have it.
The baby's born with some sort of superpower, but then they become like a degenerate with superpowers. Imagine that. A
degenerate with like an alcoholic.
Imagine, but you're super, so like a super dude. Yeah, so that show's interesting too, man. You should watch The Boys. I think you'd like it. It's really good. It's like DC and Marvel Avengers if they were all like regular people. Because this Marvel stuff.
Child support payments, and he flies in the air and saves somebody.
And they'll just like zap you with the eye, like baby mama disappeared. Things like that. Like they're like low key evil. They're not upholding no kind of. Some guys are very rogue. Think about it. If you had a superpower, you would be like, I'm not going to be this.
I do have a superpower.
I'm saying you are. You do. You have a lot of. So let's say we all had this superpower, right?
Okay.
And you think you would really use it for good, or wouldn't you want to like have some fun?
Oh wow! If I had a superpower, okay, okay, wait, no, okay. If I had a superpower, Can I pick what superpower it is, or I have to
Well,
go?
you just inherited this power. You were born with it,
What's
and
the
you don't
power?
unlock it. Okay, your power would be like the
Ability to grow great hair.
okay,
No.
great hair. Maybe
I would know
That's a
nothing
thing.
of it, so I couldn't.
So some have this like, it's like a, how should I say it? Like almost like a gift and a curse, right? Every time a certain person uses this ability, she gets younger, right? So it's like she has this defect to her powers.
so she's gonna keep getting younger,
and so she looks like she's 12, but she's like
or
45 now.
she could stop using her powers and grow older.
So she can't. She uses a strength to enlarge herself. Like she goes big, like She-Hulk. Every time she comes back to normal size, she actually is at like Benjamin Button. She's like reversing her own.
Man.
Another guy, he's like the Flash, but he's like, I guess the most he's like stressing his power, it's actually jacking up his heart. So now he has to like.
So everyone's got like a reverse mortgage.
There's some sort of a catch. Some people do,
This is like
and some guys don't.
the Twilight Zone of
It's wild.
comics.
It's really crazy to see.
Wait
these
a second. Wait,
perspectives.
which one's this one?
That's The Boys. You should watch it. It's really good.
This I probably
You'd like that show, dude.
Yeah, because
And-
that seems kind of like you. Okay.
Oh, it gets wild,
All right.
dude. Because
All
they
right.
try to make this Justice League, right? Like
Right.
they have the Superman, they have the philanthropist, they have the Flash, and they have this movie theater poster for them.
Right.
But in reality, they all have like these dark sides. And it's like the cameras are off, and now they go and like they're having like orgies, or it's pretty crazy, bro. And I'm thinking, yeah, if you had a superpower, yeah, you wouldn't abide the law.
You're saying that the reasonable person wouldn't?
I don't think so. I don't think if people started getting, it's like when you hit the lottery, that person kind of goes into a shell and disappears, or they're loud about it, and you could tell who won the lottery.
So then we just assume that when someone gets a superpower, they will do it for good.
That's what like a comic book, DC or Marvel has like these, like He-Man.
Well,
Remember He-Man back in the day would always have this message of, towards the end, he's like, now remember, it's all, he always had this like, yeah, okay.
Well,
That
where
was
does the
like-
villain come from?
The villain would be like Skeletor, or they
But
would
wouldn't
have,
that be somebody with superpower that
well,
did
they
evil?
had to have that opposition, right? They had
Like
to have
Vader?
this, like Vader, right? So they had to have this like symbiosis of crazy, the balance.
Okay.
So comic books always had, you couldn't just have Superman out there just, that's boring. Like what's gonna, let's throw a challenge at him. Kryptonite. Okay, a stone is
They were
a
always
weakness.
messing with his morality.
Right.
Are you going to do this, or are you going to do that? Are you going to do the right thing? You're not going to do the right thing.
Yeah.
That's the entertaining part.
That's what
That's what you want to dive into.
That's crazy. Yeah.
You want the
So-
superhero to do the bad.
Well, I mean, think about it though.
You're
person,
Joker.
No.
Yeah.
A Riddler maybe.
No, Joker.
Joker.
Joker loves seeing the
World
hero
burn.
fall.
Yeah.
He loved proving society wrong.
You know what I like? I love the line he tells Batman. He's like, "You cannot kill me because
You love it.
you need me."
Yeah.
Right. He's like, "You like this, dude.
This
you could easily just think
In
about
our
it. He
own
could have ended
sick,
him."
twisted way, we both like this.
The Harvey Dent was that destructive, like ready to die. That Two-Face, he was ready to like,
Two-Face wanted revenge.
he wanted revenge, but he was like, so it be it. Let fate decide. When even he tried to control the destiny. Remember that? Where it's like the heads or tails. It doesn't matter.
Well,
either side, it was going to be.
He controlled when the destiny would be used.
Right.
He said it was random. Well, the decision was random. But he's like, were you going to live or die? The guy's like, I didn't know it was time to decide this. I woke up this morning to go to work.
Guess what? You're wrong.
Yeah, no, the coin said otherwise.
Dude, so imagine that into the justice system. Like, that'd be crazy.
How
like,
would you,
like back in the day, like the pagans and that time frame, 1800s. The first courts back in the day, it's like, okay, who proved this person killing so martial out in the middle of Mojave? And it's like, well, nobody was around to see it. Okay. And the person says that they didn't do it. Yeah. Who was no witnesses? Well, this is a waste of time.
you see the judicial system like that?
What it was once ran like literally.
Well, when there was like the Wild West, the Wild West,
Yeah.
they had somebody coming around. It was called circuits. They'd have somebody coming around every now and then, a few months, to say, "What are the grievances here?" Oh, sheriff killed about 2 people.
Yes.
When? 3 weeks ago. Did you guys figure it out? Bob did it. What happened to Bob? Shot him.
All right.
On to the next part of the circuit. You know, what are you going to do?
Fast.
Because you're
brain.
just settling the area. It's not like you have all these people to make decisions. You're just settling the area and you're saying, hey, look, take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Make sure that you guys do right. Here's a couple rules.
Right.
You may want to look into these rules and you may want to follow these rules.
Yeah.
That's it. Does
the court and everybody tied to court, law enforcement, is there an overcrowding of people versus against authorities and the law? Like the number of, I know, like, okay, so that's a good example. They had the circuit, right, to kind of like, you know, they're trying to instill in the settlements and like, so maybe at one point, they had a system enough to run a small little, you know, a town that was like a trading post town where it's like, okay, and we could bring enough sheriff here, like an army.
He was the one that was, look, you're the one that tries to keep order.
Yeah.
Make sure everyone's in charge and make sure you take charge of everyone and write down if somebody did something wrong.
Right.
But you're not making decisions right away because there's not like a sitting judge. There's just a group of people living in places.
With the amount of crimes that are being committed daily, by the second, by the minute.
Back then?
Now.
We can't keep track.
Okay, you can't keep track.
No
like,
way.
There's and that's why there's such a huge, like, you're dealing with that, right? There's so much, a calendar full of stuff where it's like, no, we can't just get this figured out.
Well, we have a lot of crimes that are based on drugs. So it's just people's personal use of drugs. There's a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes up a lot of time. Takes up a lot of space. Dealing with people's personal issues.
Yeah.
Then you have the side that's dealing with property damage, assaults, violence to other people. That, you're probably always going to have that filed. That's always going to be a crime.
Yeah.
It's the other stuff that's coming and going. They start to adjust. How much do we value? How much marijuana used to be illegal? It's legal now.
Yeah.
That alleviated a lot. Then you have other stuff. Now all of a sudden it's illegal for this or that. Oh, great. Now we have other things.
Yeah. So somebody that commits something that's drug related or assault or murder, or I know you can't talk about what it is you're working on most currently, right? It's not really like if I ask you what is it, it's an assault crime.
No, that's
okay.
Just generally.
So generally the most common things right now that you're basically you're defending as far as whether someone's been like they are trying to defend themselves, right? Of a crime, like something happened to them, or they are being accused that they committed the crime.
All of it.
Okay,
they're accused of it. They have to go to court. Maybe someone has just said something. Maybe there's somebody that wants to be spoken to, a police officer. Any part of it.
Yeah.
That would be the, how would you have that as a superpower? Huh?
Yeah.
What would you do there?
Man, you'd have to go some sort of portal
What if
hopper.
your superpower was always knowing the truth?
Oof.
How do you deal with it all then?
Would you want to know the truth? Would you want to know?
But it's not about, you didn't say that you had to, that anybody wanted to have their superpowers and all of the other things you said.
Right.
So if your superpower was that you just knew the truth, you know, the opposite actually of Jim Carrey's movie where he told the truth.
Oh yeah, liar. Yeah.
You always know the truth. And it's kind of similar if you think about to Mel Gibson in the, what's that movie? What Women Want.
Oh, sure. Where he was almost
he
like
can read their minds.
Intellectual.
Right. Combine those two. You now always know the truth. So they bring you The People versus Larry. You look at the document and automatically you know he did or didn't do it. You can't say anything though. But you automatically always know. Imagine that's your superpower.
With experience, you can call it. Right? With experience, your experience.
No, that's your superpower.
Okay, yeah.
It's just your superpower.
Yeah.
You just have, just like the Flash can run, how he can run fast, I don't know.
He just does.
How somebody can look through walls like Superman, and he just does.
Right.
Okay, I mean, we can get into the background science of it, but he just does.
Sure.
You always know the truth. Would that be a good thing or a bad thing?
That would really, I don't know, that would be a bad thing, I think.
If you're a defense attorney.
Yeah. What kind of business would you have?
What do you mean?
You'd have no business.
Why?
Unless if you solely run with the whole, like, I know the truth and this guy is not working with me, or how can I bring this to light to prove whether it can work with or against, right? Like with you on your side or against you, to have like this, your job is you're the filter. Again, you're in there to be, hey, I'm going to be this wall to be able to take the hits, the graffiti, the people are going to throw Molotovs at me and stuff, right? But you're going to stand behind me. You're good. But again, look what I'm doing. Again, like the whole quarterback thing. If people were to realize why they hired you, why not literally, like you said, let me take hands on the reins. Like, let me drive this bus. Let me like steer.
Right.
And then, but if they're giving you the friction, how much harder it makes it for you, and be like, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. There's nothing I can do about this. Like, this is what happened. These are and so can someone also feel like almost cheated, or be like, dude, but how can we, even though they know they're in like no kind of, you have no say in it. You have no, look, man, there's no winning in this. Like, okay, we see when someone comes up to you and says, I'm going to present to you my case. Read it over, and you accept to take on the case. But then later down the road, after 2 or 3 different trials, they do not like that outcome. Or like, hey, well, what's going on? Why? Then you're put in this position. I'm like, well, dude, this is how the law works, right? Is that where you are? Is that kind of going back to the whole disconnecting thing? Because you're like, these guys aren't, like, how does that?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it, the disconnect of, but I want this, I want this, I want this, and it doesn't necessarily go there, or even, not necessarily the end result, but just, I'm not understanding the process. You're not going to understand the process if you think you already understand the process. You have to assume that you don't know the process.
Right.
Like, I don't know what that painting is. I have to assume I have no idea what that painting is, assuming I've never seen it before. Instead of just saying, oh, it must be this, this, or this, I can ask you, and then I can learn from you, and then you can tell me. That's part of the disconnect. That, well, I expect this to happen. For example, sometimes at the first time that somebody goes to court, their very first court appearance, they're barely going to be told what their charges are. They're already thinking they have to bring their witnesses.
Yeah.
And they have all these witnesses lined up and say, hey, we're ready to say what we want to say about what happened the other night.
Right.
Not the time and place. You're here to be read your charges and to decide whether or not what your custody status is going to be, in jail or not in jail. That's all that is. When you have that expectation that, no, we're going to let everybody know that this is what's going to happen, that's not what's going to happen. And then you're going to always think that the system's against you, or everybody's against you, because it didn't go the way you thought it was going to go, but it wasn't supposed to go that way. And it may eventually go the way you want it to go, but you're just one step ahead, or sometimes one step behind. But you have to acknowledge that you're not really there understanding what all the steps are, and you need some assistance with that. That becomes part of the disconnect. I can reconnect, and I can try to figure out how to best explain that.
Yeah.
How to best understand the process.
Have them talk to Copilot.
Have them talk to Copilot.
Maybe Copilot could break it down in the most, it's like, hey.
It's a good point, actually.
You know what I'm saying?
Talk to Copilot.
Think about this. What was your education? 8th grade. Okay, cool. Copilot. Can you please explain it in an 8th grade level?
Right.
Can you please break this down in a sense where, and maybe you could just type it up at home, right? And then just have this like brochure for the person. It's like, so you want to go to summer camp, right? And you open it up and it's like summer camp options, archery, canoeing, right? It's like jail, jail, boot camp.
Can you imagine if you just solved everything with AI? You just let AI program all the... Why couldn't you just have AI program all the prisoners?
That'd be interesting. I know a lot of... it could go back to the whole, like, AI is going to... Or robot will... Okay, the Waymo drives you around San Francisco.
Okay.
You pull up a Waymo app like it's an Uber. Unlock the key with the app, right? You get in there. You already have the destination. You hope that this thing and the 100 cameras that it has around it is not going to... In San Francisco, being tested... I was watching it, like maneuvering in SF. We went out there, I don't know, like, that was like last month. and we were near one, and I was just like, okay, this is gonna be good because SF traffic is wild, and there's uphills, and there's like somebody again. There's the human driver versus this computer programmed driver of by the book, and also to be cautious about people or have a like. I'm curious what happens if because my son asked me, Dad, what happens if you get ran over by a thing? Well, I'm pretty sure it's a sensor for you. You would have to literally purposely jump onto, and I'm pretty sure it has cameras, and it would see you.
Hopefully it sees you and detects you.
Well, it would record you taking that leap to be like, I'm just going to get hit by this Waymo.
Whoa, no, that's correct.
Right.
Oh, you're talking about somebody intentionally getting hit.
Right.
Oh, it's going to show you going.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, right, exactly. A little bump, a little bumper.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. So I'm like thinking, okay, a Waymo is literally meant to like a car accident, a bumper, a little, a little collision thing. It's like, what does it do? And how do you win against something that's been almost foolproof to be like, it knows how to stop, react. It will damn near reverse to not even.
I saw one going 360 in a circle in a parking lot, and they couldn't stop it. That's the only thing that I've seen. Not in person.
Okay.
It was on the internet.
Okay, yeah, sure. Like the little.
Okay, so it glitched, and they had to call it.
So no, not foolproof, but it does have some sort of like the road.
It's the computer.
It's a computer, yeah.
But if you think about it, San Francisco is the best place to test it because the land is so uneven. You have the lanes changing.
Right.
You have cones. You have people, construction.
Everything. Exactly.
Oh, you have everything.
Everything, yeah.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. We have to be aware and we have to react and respond to somebody cutting us off. How will Waymo react and respond? And how will it, as far as like, does it know to slow, stop?
Does
like,
it?
Oh, human.
Supposedly it knows what we know. It's a collection of us.
Right.
So it's how we drive.
Up to a certain point, yeah.
It's how we drive. But it could include how we roll stops, how we take chances.
So the driver's from Thailand, doesn't know any English and is driving like a Nissan 2006 Sentra and is like just working in Chinatown and it like a Waymo. So I'm saying like an immigrant person.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be Chinese or Thailand. It could be Mexican. It could be from
You were
Guatemala.
very specific about it.
I'm just thinking, okay.
I try to let it go, but you were kind of specific about it.
Yeah, okay. Let's say an immigrant is driving.
Your tío.
Oh, okay. Undocumented.
Okay.
Let's say someone that is,
Ramon Pancho.
Yeah.
Anda con una Nissan.
Juan Silva,
Okay, mira, Ramon.
Yeah, Juan Silva has his Corolla. Yeah.
And no, it's una Nissan pickup.
Yeah,
Maria.
Yeah.
He's driving it down the street.
His plates are 543. No,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, all right. Let's say someone,
Datsun.
right? Someone that is okay, a tourist.
Okay.
Let's put a tourist. Doesn't know English. Doesn't know. Is not used to our left-hand drive, and is like the first. And all of a sudden it's like.
So you're posing AI versus new guy.
Yeah.
What happens?
What happens?
Is this like a YouTube show for you? AI versus new guy.
I'm curious what happens if you have this person.
It would be like a showdown, like
Yeah. And the Waymo's like, vroom, vroom, vroom,
and the other guy's like,
Imagine-
I am going this way.
Because you said it's a collection of us to a certain
It
point.
is.
So, but does it also know that there are like a foreigner?
It doesn't know that.
It doesn't. But the
You're
foreigner,
saying that it could? That at some point it's like,
beware.
I see who the
foreigners.
driver is over there. Let me
Okay.
Let me take the best option because it's
Yeah.
going to be based on what I know that this person's going to drive like.
Right. Okay. Equip a Waymo with a Robocop in it in the trunk.
RoboCop's going to jump out of the trunk?
Dude, that is the next level. People are saying, okay, cops are.
How about a Karen and a RoboCop put together?
Right. So a robot are like patrolling and guards in the certain. I forgot what. There's a correctional officer saying that now they have this little R2D2 that's like going around the
in the jail?
In the jail somewhere, and they're trying to implement it. It was like a test thing where
Really?
it was like it legit looks like a big pod.
What is it doing?
It's basically like when guards are, I don't know, a shift change or something, so there is no dead time. And
And it's like monitoring.
Yeah, it's like a monitor on wheels.
Okay.
R2D2. Now let's advance it. Now R2D2 is the next. What is that? The Optimus, the robot from
Right. Optimus Prime? Or?
No, Optimus, the robot of Tesla, the Tesla bot. Okay, the Tesla bot. They have like the whole.
I haven't really seen it.
Okay, but have you heard of it? There's
Yeah,
a certain.
yeah,
Okay, imagine now Tesla bot is now a trained like authority, like a cop. Put that in a Waymo. So the Waymo pulls you over now, and then here comes out this robot, and he's like about to give you a ticket. And now, because you asked, what if AI managed the courts, right? Now, who gave you a ticket? Well, that Waymo robot.
You're saying we're gonna have robot cops?
I'm pretty sure that's what.
How do we legally analyze a robot cop?
Have you seen the latest RoboCop? It was like a 2019 that came out or something like that, or it was a newer one where he's like,
yeah, it wasn't that bad. I think it was stuck in an apartment complex and he had to get out. Something like that.
But they say like Detroit, right? Detroit is like rough.
Yeah,
even back in
the original
90s,
was Detroit.
The original, yeah, it's always based around Detroit. But then they implement the new Detroit to like the new RoboCop, right? It's like the whole like, okay, now there's, which the 90s RoboCop was pretty on point, and they were like.
The 90s RoboCop was really on point with how the world was going to be.
Right.
Everything's now privatized. That was the whole point of it. It wasn't about a robot cop.
Right.
It was about a private company started taking over the law enforcement.
Tesla.
And they started investing into law enforcement.
Waymo. Think about it, dude. We're not that far.
You're saying that they're going to have a cop just jump. They're going to have a substation. It's going to be a RoboCop substation in essence in the trunk.
I feel like so. Okay, now.
And if you're right about this.
Dude, that'd be wild.
If you're right about this.
So now we have to go to the court and there's no more clerks. There's no nothing. You're just going to a screen. You submit your ticket. You submit what you're charged.
You throw it into the little barcode into the kiosk.
And you can still go. You can still hire an attorney. So you come with a client.
What if your attorney's a robot now?
Or you just pull up with your laptop and it's Copilot. It's like, hey, back me up, dude. And plug it into the little... All right, what's going on?
These are your options, and then you start.
I updated my files onto Copilot, and now he's my defense attorney, and I'm plugging him into the kiosk. That's going to tell me if I get jail time. I mean, it might speed things up.
I guess you can just throw it into a quantum computer.
Is that what we need?
Yeah, and then you could just find out. Like, this is what the answer is.
And then you could just work here.
Get all the humans out of the way,
dude. Everybody,
what's
quit.
the answer?
Yeah. Right.
12 years in prison. Wow.
So,
or we can put humanity in it.
Yeah.
Humanity ruins it. That's the problem. Humans ruin it. I used to know these things. I really did. I'm a shell of myself.
We're going into an autopilot. There's Copilot. We're the autopilots.
We are?
We are. I feel like we are. A lot of things are now automatically done.
Everything's automatically done.
So
how do you cook nowadays?
Yeah, there's a lot of that, like, hold on to your, like, that family tradition recipe. And it's like, no, it'll die with me. I'm not gonna until I die, and I give it to
Right.
That's like the most human, like, how should I say it? Like the very.
Yeah, but you could put that on the cloud now.
Right now it's on the cloud. It's scanned, dude. You could scan your abuelita's muffins and empanadas, and it's like, all right, well, we'll never lose it. I've asked my grandpa to try to tell me stories, man. I tried to journal stories that he knew, and they were just so interesting. But it's like this, documenting things. You document something, and then it's like, you have this. You have a copy of a thought, idea. This could be a journal. This is a vlog.
This is your journal.
This is a vlog. I'm completely off topic. Because it was funny. I think it's fun. It's funny. I think this is what you needed, though, dude.
Yeah.
I think you needed this. Because you came in with this, and then you put that away. Now we're talking about other shit. Let's go back to our notes.
I don't write shit. I don't write shit. This is what I found out from my friends as to what are the most frequently asked questions by people looking for an attorney.
Okay.
In criminal defense.
Okay. Let's go back. Let's go with that. Let's back on topic, guys.
Why not just use a public defender?
Okay.
Why not just use a public defender?
What's your answer to that?
I don't have one. You should use a public defender. They're free.
Right.
I was a public defender. Public defenders are good.
What was your experience as a public defender, though?
I had a lot of cases.
I was in business.
I had a lot of cases.
You get paid through who?
The county.
The county.
Right.
Okay. And you're capped at whatever.
Yeah, no, it's a good pay. You got benefits and everything.
Okay. All right.
But you have a lot of cases, and they don't stop. And you just keep going and going and going and going. Right. So you're not really able to spend as much time with your clients.
Yeah, you're just kind of on the fly. Like, hey, I'll defend you. Come here.
A lot of attorneys learn on the fly, though. You kind of really are learning on the fly.
Yeah.
You have to. Yeah. You just kind of join in.
Case outside real quick. Let's.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I mean, but why not? You could. It's just up to you.
Okay.
I mean, if there was a process, let me put it this way: if somebody said, "Hey, they have a program where now if you want to get a tattoo, you can go and it's free.
Uh-huh.
Everyone is entitled to a tattoo, and then you have somebody there just doing like 1,000 tattoos a day.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
It's a workhorse.
I mean, if that's what you want to do. But if you say, look, I just want, a sleeve and this is kind of how I want it. Well, it sounds like you have more desires and thoughts and you can plan this out and you want a little bit more centralized attention.
I don't know if I would tattoo anymore if that was the case. If tattooing, and not the free part, if it was like everyone's entitled to a tattoo.
It's a rough one, huh?
It is a rough one. It's the same thing
It
when
is,
AI.
because then you have to justify why they're paying you.
Well, it's free. In this point,
Yeah.
let's say like this program's a free thing. if I'm going to be like a number, I'm just an artist plugging in for this program that is now tattooing is going to be. There's no business in tattooing because now everyone's going to this program that's a free program that has these artists that are just hired that you just. I feel like your artistic creativity is out the door because you're not. I'm assuming if it's a free program, therefore you're not going to be doing custom work. You're going to be doing by the book, number 35 on the wall. And I came with a dolphin and a rainbow. I came with a jellyfish. I want to get here's a Chinese symbol. And now it's just like, I'm not going to do this anymore.
Right. But you can't necessarily do those things.
No.
Because you have so many coming at you. So,
Right.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
If there's something real simple, there's a lot of things that can be done by a public defender. But if you want some specific, not like you're looking for a specific result, but you want a little more attention, you want to kind of feel like there's a plan and it's coming a certain way and
care for your case, care for you as your freedom, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, all right, let's be real. What are the differences? Public defender and actually going with expert attorneys with this expertise. Because it's like somebody say, I'm an expert. I'm not an expert artist. By me.
But you have a lot of experience.
I have experience, but I am.
And expertise does come from experience.
Right.
That does matter. So when you're now locking in somebody on a contract saying, hey, I'm going to do this for you, you are paying for the experience.
Yeah.
That trenches. Where did you learn it from? Well, I was a public defender too.
Yeah.
That's where I learned it from back then. Why do morality? Do you feel bad about representing a guilty person? Isn't that always the question? Do you feel bad about representing a guilty person?
I should read these to you.
Number
Okay.
3.
Number 3. Okay, well, first of all, why do okay? Do you feel bad about representing a guilty person? So, where do you stand on that, though? Because knowing that you don't know if they're guilty or not, right? But then they might be transparent with you and say, "Yeah, I did it." And how does that work?
Even if I assume that they're guilty, you can just assume.
Sure.
Assume in this hypothetical they're guilty.
Okay.
They're still a human.
Yeah.
Still a human. That's the only answer I have. They're still a human.
They're still a human.
I've tried to work on that answer so many times. And you know what?
Make this known today at 8:07.
People are still humans.
Okay, there's your answer. Hey, you're getting reconnected, dude. You're reconnecting with the society. Dude, we are accomplishing...
This is therapy.
Welcome to therapy, dude. I didn't know that. I didn't know I was a therapist. This is good.
I thought we were supposed to love everyone.
Yeah. That's funny. That is a good answer. I didn't even thought of that, dude.
Neither did I.
I wouldn't have thought
But
of
I
that.
can't think of anything else because look, I can tell you a bunch of things.
Dang.
Look, I mean, everyone needs a defense, and someone's got to do it. I don't know.
I don't
No,
dude, I wouldn't have thought of that. Using that as how should I say, a response to saying, hey, the person's still a human. That's true. Is there such thing as a attorney integrity?
like within each other or just in
Yourself?
the community.
Like a personal, like almost like a code. Is there
You have a
something
certain code of what you're supposed to do and
Right.
follow all the
Well, then-
rules.
but like, okay.
But how you feel about a case,
Because I know you have
it's up
to
to you.
You have to. Yeah. Okay. So that's solely up to you, right?
It's your own spirituality.
Okay.
Yeah. You deal with it in your way.
You're still human.
Yeah. Don't go to the bottle. Don't drink too much,
Sure.
That's a big thing.
Well, just know your limits.
Right. But there isn't, oh, by the way, you should or shouldn't care.
Right.
There's no certification that says that. Your duty as an attorney is the protection of society, they say, through the administration of laws and the judicial system.
Sure. Yeah.
But The reality is, are you supposed to care? They hope you do, but that's not a requirement. Do they want you to hate things? They hope you don't, but
neutral. Stay
you
as
know,
neutral as possible. Stay like.
Well, I don't know if anyone ever says what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to care? Or are you not supposed to care? So what's the answer to that? Why do you defend somebody if they're guilty?
If you come in for your first tattoo, should I care about your first? Do you want the artist to care about your first tattoo? Being your first, being the fact that this is obviously like this.
If I didn't pay you and you had to do a tattoo on my arm, are you going to do a good one or are you going to do a bad one?
So you see my work, you chose to come to my studio, right? Because there's hundreds of artists. It's kind of overwhelming if you sit here and just Google and just being like, tattoo artists. You're gonna find shops. You gotta find the shop's website, see everybody's art. That might take that's gonna take a while.
A lot of research.
You have the artwork. Then it also, I guess, depends on how I always tell people do your research, right? Like the same thing with attorneys. Find how is someone supposed to select the attorney to go with as far as what makes them feel good versus you just trying to make that sale.
Do you feel like they got your back or not?
Who's that?
That's how you should figure it out.
Okay.
Do you feel like they have your back or not?
But you could be over the phone telling me, or I can come meet up.
I would never hire an attorney over the phone.
Okay.
I would never let a client hire me over the phone either.
Or be like, hey, I'd like to meet up at your office.
Yep.
I come to your office.
Yep.
And then we talk about it, and then you're...
Right. Are we a fit for each other?
Okay, cool.
It's both of us, though, too. We have to be a fit for each other. We don't have to get along, but we have to kind of understand what the plan's going to be. It's like a coach and a quarterback, right?
Right.
You know, the client's almost like the coach. They're not teaching you how to be a player, but they are telling you this is what I expect, but the quarterback's going to have to run the plays.
Yeah. And so that also is that to me sounds like you have some sort of integrity of just because you do have this code as an attorney, but I'm sure you're not going to give me a sale. Like you're going to just sell me the service to be like, look,
no, I can't sell you on
I'm
anything.
your guy.
No, just no attorney should be able to.
Dude.
Nobody should be telling you, I'm the guy, I'm this and that. I mean, no, we're going to win this. Yeah. No, look, is the person experienced? Are they listening to what your problems are? Do they have somewhat of an idea or a plan or a strategy that you're on board with? And do you have confidence in this person? You don't have to say, well, they look like they're great or this or that. Just do you have a feeling that this is someone that you're okay with going and walking next to a vicious dog?
Yeah.
If you're not, if you're scared, I feel like this isn't going to work, then you shouldn't do that. But just because someone tells you this is going to happen and I'm a tough fighter and all of the, it sounds like a salesman.
Yeah.
Don't hire that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right. Same thing. The artist. Don't go with a guy that thinks he could do it, bites off more than he could chew. Your first tat.
This is be honest.
Baloney.
I've been doing this long enough to know this is how long it's going to take. This is probably what's going to happen. These are the chances.
And if I want to guarantee, I'm going to go somewhere else, and guess what? It's going to be a full.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay with me because I want to make sure it fits for me too. I don't want a problem later on either.
That's good.
Yeah. It's not going to work for the both of us.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So, do you view DAs as enemies, or are they what? Are they checks in? Was it?
My handwriting's horrible. Huh?
Mine looks just like yours, and I can't even read.
Do defense? Oh, that's a delta. Do defense attorneys view DAs as enemies, or are there checks? Are they just the checks and balances?
Checks and balances. Yeah.
Somebody had this question. Do I see the prosecutor who filed charges against my client as the enemy? No, I see them as my opponent. But not in a combative way. Not in a, we're going to try to be diabolical against each other. They have their responsibility.
It's a debate.
Well,
kind of.
It is a debate. But it's also what they're trying to do. They have their tasks and responsibilities.
Sure.
I have my own. I have my own duties, which is to my client. Theirs is to the state of California. We can be cordial with each other. We can get along with each other. But at the end of the day, I have to make sure that my client is protected. They have to make sure the state of California is protected. And we both know that. That's how we're able to come together and have conversations. It's no different than, like a world leader speaking to another world leader. Just because you see them speaking doesn't mean there's no turmoil between the countries.
In a private room, leaving the court's in session. Everybody goes into the room, attorneys, judge, everybody, or like whoever's in the court, like representation or whatever, right? You guys go into a private room to discuss matters as far as like, hey, let's just quiet things down to shut out the noise. Is that what the purpose of that is also?
You mean a private conversation away from the courtroom?
Yeah.
No. You mean the quiet the noise around?
So, because it's like right now, this is all in court. It's being recorded, right?
Sometimes.
Is that part of it? I'm curious. What's the point?
Sometimes it's difficult for people to really say what they need to say when the camera's always on.
Gotcha.
And it's easier to just have an informal conversation where the rules are less restrictive because we have to always be so formal.
Sure.
So we can actually go back there and huddle up. If you think about it, the judge, the district attorney, and the defense attorney were all judges. The judge was an attorney. I'm sorry.
You guys
they're all attorneys because even the judge was an attorney at some point.
Right.
So, and everybody had to go to law school. So there's a certain way where law students can get together and talk about a certain issue that maybe the public isn't really going to understand because we're doing a lot of lawyers speak.
Right.
And that's really what it's all about. It's just, let's go back there and talk about this other stuff just so that we can hammer some of this stuff out instead of always having to speak so formally and enunciating, as like Alice in Wonderland.
Right.
Instead, we can just let's just go hash this out.
Real quick. Just cut, kind of like bypass them.
But it could create problems because then sometimes people view that as they're going back there and they're doing backdoor deals. They're conspiring.
Some CeeLo.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they came back and all of a sudden something was decided.
Right.
Well, sometimes something is decided back there because people were able to loosen up their tie a little bit, unbutton the shirt and say, all right, what's really going on here? Because we're kind of duking it out there in court and we're really kind of coming at each other.
It's getting kind of heated. Yeah,
it's getting a little heated.
Yeah.
Why don't we just try to speak a little freely and not worry about all the formalities right now? And that's how sometimes stuff gets done. The negotiations really happen.
Yeah.
But it creates that image to the public that the backdoor stuff that's happening.
Right. Okay.
I shouldn't say backdoor.
Behind the curtain.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah. Peel back the curtain. It's like, hey, how's the draft?
I think if people saw behind the curtain, most people would understand it because it's really not as mythical as you would believe.
Right.
It's not as if people are going back there and having this big old party. There isn't. There's probably a little bit more laughter and a little bit more nicer humor because let's just be a little more relaxed.
That's what I figured.
Let's not try to put on some show. Let's really just talk about this. But at the end of the day, the judge can't talk to the attorneys without both attorneys being present.
Right.
So we still have that rule. If one person steps out of the room, the conversation ends. Yeah. All of those rules are still applying. So everybody's still being represented well. The judge representing the judicial system, the district attorney representing the state, and the defense attorney representing the client. Everybody's being represented well, but just in a informal setting.
Unbutton the top a little bit. Yeah. Get that,
Get some air in there.
Yeah, some air. Let's air it out. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bad.
How we turn
this little guy likes to turn himself off and do crazy little things. Can you actually see my handwriting? You literally went into the next thing, which was ex parte chamber conversations.
I was curious about that. That's funny. I was genuinely because I think that would be a common
misconception
of it. Yeah.
Did you see the next one?
No, I did not. Dude, you never saw me. I've never.
You actually haven't turned the page, so
I've never turned it. It was on this page the whole time, dude. I was genuinely curious. So therefore, something's in sync here. Innocent until proven guilty. So
everybody knows that, though.
Yeah.
Or do they?
Dude, I love that. They are human. I like that.
You're on that.
I like that.
What a novel idea that a person is a human.
I like that because we forget, dude. We forget that it's like, yeah, I mean, okay, I dumped trash in a place I wasn't supposed to. I knew it was wrong. I did it anyway. That was the human side of me. I knew that I wasn't supposed to park there. It was gonna be really quick. I didn't think I was gonna get a ticket. I didn't think I was gonna this was gonna set it off to be a bigger, larger escalation. I didn't see something as far as I procastinated on something, put it on the back burner, it came back to bite me. I
Maybe you
knew
got
I was
into a-
supposed to take care of it. You know
got
what I
in a
mean?
fight with a family member,
Like something, right?
physical fight.
And it's like
You're not doing well in life
the
right
human
now.
side of you is again.
Maybe you started doing
So
some
the
drugs.
human side of a superhero is what causing that superhero to be that degenerate. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
that was the premise of Boys, dude. That's what I'm saying. You'd like
But what
that
if
show.
what if the superpower was the attorney who knew what the truth was, and he still had to defend the client?
So what would be a ongoing like struggle or like that opposition of what would consistently be at you as far as like at your neck where it's like there has to be like what's your kryptonite at that point, knowing to be able to.
What would be your kryptonite?
If you knew
So,
the truth all the time,
If you knew the truth,
on the flip side, because you asked me, would that be a good thing?
your
or a bad thing?
emotions, it would be your emotions because of how you would have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Knowing that you have to do the right thing, even though you know the truth about something, and you may be doing something that's against what the truth is, and it's just a toll on your mental health.
Probably, yeah.
This is probably reality, actually. We're actually dissecting the life of a lawyer.
Yeah.
Because as a lawyer, you know things that other people don't know. And I don't mean the laws. I mean, well, maybe that too, of course. But
Yeah. Well, obviously, the laws.
Confidential information.
Which is what is.
And between you and the government, you're the only one that really knows your client's story.
Right.
And that's confidential. So
But
you have a bigger picture.
In order to be part of this game, though, you need to know, like, to be part of the team, I should say. In order for this quarterback to run this play, you guys all have to be on the same page of what number you are on the grid, right? And you have to also be like, we've practiced this, right? Yes. All right. Have you ever been a receiver? Have you been a wide receiver? Yeah. I've had this much experience through college, and I just got. I played for the Bucks. Now I got recruited here, right? So it's like, okay, I trust that you know what you're doing, right? As far as like, but I'm the one in charge of the ball. I get to decide if you're going to be open or not. There's a lot of parallels to that, huh? A lot of analogies, and but I feel like because you have to be transparent with the quarterback. You have to be like, dude, I'm not open. You know what I'm saying? I'm not open, bro. Or being like, dude, I'm good. Like, or I'm not open. I confidently tell you, don't throw me the ball. As far as like, you're in full control.
It's hard for people to give control though.
Why is that? Why though? What have you?
If you're the reason why your life is out of control, that means likely you controlled it to that scenario. At some point, you could have given your control to somebody when you started realizing you were going out of it, but you didn't.
Right.
And now that you've scraped all the way to the bottom, the expectation is that person will say, I think it's time to now give the keys to my attorney or to whoever. It doesn't happen.
I'm curious if it's like some sort of the anxiousness or the too worried about, I guess,
fear of
the
the
narrative.
unknown.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
When
Like
when people arrested, the very first question that they're thinking, and they're coming to court, the very first thing, when am I getting out? How quick is this going to end? It's all short-term thoughts. If somebody actually has a long-term thought, like, hey, I think this should happen, this should happen, this should happen, it goes a lot easier for them. Because now they're thinking of all the steps that need to be taken, not just, I need to get out. Right. Well, that kind of thinking got you in the first place. It's a shitty area of law that I work with.
Yeah, as you're explaining all this, I am trying to put myself in the position of I don't understand the law, and I'm trying to fight.
You understand the law.
I do, but I'm saying like you're saying the people that are fighting against you, that are like, you're representing them, and they're just fighting you. They're fighting you in every aspect of like, dude.
Yeah, if your client fights you, it's not going to work for you.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
And you have the right to also
fight your attorney.
No,
but you have the right to screw up your own case too.
You have the right to as an attorney to be like, I will not. We won't continue then. If you don't,
not always.
No.
Not always. Sometimes you've gone too far. So if you're 80% done with that tattoo, you probably could walk away. I'm not sure.
Somebody else is gonna have to finish.
And someone's gonna have to finish this.
Right.
But it doesn't work with the law. You can't leave a client in a position where they can't really continue
without a paddle.
Sometimes it's like that, right? So it's like, look, we need to get along.
Good luck.
We really need to get along.
Yeah.
We're both in this boat.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, though, if it tips over, I'm guaranteed not to drown.
It's calm right now, but this, it's calm. The waters are chill, dude. But
You hear the crickets?
let's think about it. It's like
Little toads. Just that sun just goes down.
it's like, yep.
Oh,
Moon,
man.
the tide rises and the waves
Dude.
crash and
Damn.
lightning. Dude, there's a lot of metaphors around a lot of that, dude. Being in a boat with your client, with your patient, with your client. So you have
You are in the boat.
exactly what it is,
Yeah.
dude. You're literally on the boat out to
Yeah.
sea. You're not on no Black Pearl. You're just literally on a little skiff, or
And it's
if
but
anything.
but it's a calm that's deceiving.
Yeah, it is. It so is, right? Yeah,
At that point, though, you have to trust the person that's been on the boat before.
right.
You have to. That's probably the best way to decide who you want to be your lawyer.
You're the Popeye.
Do you trust to be in a boat with me
You're the Popeye.
and I have the paddle?
Yeah.
Because if you don't trust to be on a boat with me and I have the paddle, then you shouldn't hire me as an attorney.
Right. That's a good one.
Because at some point, I'm gonna do what we need to do to get this boat out based on what I understand, and that's why you got me.
To maneuver and to also,
But if you say, "Hey, we're gonna do it this way, we're gonna do it this way," I'm not.
you
It's
know,
not
how
gonna
to
work.
navigate the stars. You know how to, navigate the oceans, the waters.
Google it.
Yeah.
How to win my case, right?
Yeah.
How to draw a tattoo.
Right.
Grab ink to skin. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's how many times have I messed up to get it right?
Reps.
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 So you're documenting your life, huh?
Yeah.
This is what you're doing.
Kind of.
Are you having an epiphany?
I'm really trying to analyze this. Like, what am I doing? But
This
it's
is like Dr.
it's
Phil here.
it's something.
Let's get into this.
It's something. I feel. We'll be right back. Okay.
Are you recording?
It's been recording, dude. Look, we're in hour 11.
All garbage content.
No, this is good. We will edit it, and you use what you will, dude. You'll have some great,
Oh my god.
great shots.
No, I'm not saying you. Me.
Yeah,
Me.
you.
I'm gonna slump.
No,
I'm gonna slump, Bonds.
you're not.
I really am. I am, but I know I am.
About like in what aspect?
Inspiration
Okay,
for my craft.
I think if you reach out back to this whole like, I want you to create something like this. Okay,
Like what? You know what I'd like to
what
be
we're doing.
between you and me?
Huh.
I'd love to be the Neil deGrasse Tyson of law, where I can explain law to the common man. I haven't found that connection though. How to actually do that.
Okay, next episode. You know what we're doing?
What are we doing?
We're gonna do exactly that.
How's that?
Pick apart what laws explain. I'm not telling you
Okay.
to recite the whole. Like
I'm
we're
with
not
you.
gonna go through the whole law book.
Topical stuff.
Yeah, things that you find turmoil in, and I feel like you breaking it down.
Mm-hmm.
Not yourself, but people find that friction of, this person does not understand it. Like if I was that person, I'd be like, hey, I just don't get it. Therefore, I'm gonna give you this tug of war, or I'm gonna give you this like, yeah, that's what it is. That friction, that whole like resistance
Right.
against it, right? Because I just don't understand it, and you cannot compute with me. So I feel like you breaking that down.
Did you know that all murders are homicides, but not all homicides are murders?
Give me an example. Give me an example. So like, what's an example where?
You look like my dad when you said that. You're like, what did you just say?
No, I get.
No,
what you're
I know you
saying.
get it, but no, when he looks at me, it just
He
sounded like
does
that was random. Like, what did that have to do with what we were talking about?
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Fun fact of the day.
Fun fact of the day.
Did you know? Yeah.
How was your day, son? Did you know that all homicides are not murders, but all murders are homicides?
Yeah. If you have a 3-drop black of ink and you're running it a heel that actually does a 60% versus a 30%. Yeah. No, I think if you break something down like that and say an example, like this is what's currently going on.
Right.
What if someone's having an issue? I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna web it off into an example. Blah blah blah. Have it all written out. Have you posted?
See, I can't
solo
do the
shot.
all written out stuff. That's why this is an example of why I don't do this. I can't lay that out. I was just like writing stuff down
Sure.
today, but I can't do that.
What is it that you can't do? Like what?
Plan.
Well, you know the law, right? You know the.
Yeah.
Okay, so then break it down and give it to an example in layman's terms to be like, hey.
Well, so I'll give you an example. What do you want to know about the law? I'll tell you the law.
Okay, so.
But I'm going to make it sound nerdy.
No, so, okay, explain to me about the homicides and murders. Like what the difference is. Give me just an example.
Okay.
Of, here's an outcome that does, and here's one that won't.
So a homicide is any killing of a human being towards another. A murder is when that killing is unjustified.
Okay, yes. That makes sense.
Does it really?
Yeah. Right off the bat, I can tell you. It makes sense, but I mean, hey, some people won't get it. that's the damn truth. That's the truth.
This is what we figured out. This is what I was saying. I said, look, I'm having trouble trying to get people to understand things. And then I told you, and you're like, well, that's on them. I get it. Well, that's on them.
That's on them, dude. So this is what you do.
Okay, that's on them.
This is what you do. I understand where that can be misconstrued or like, because it's true. You're like, okay, say it slower, but
say it slower for those in the back.
Yeah. Can you repeat it? Yeah, taking notes. I don't know. I think if you...
Okay, then you know what? I'm being impatient. That's what it is. I'm being impatient.
They're only human. They are also human.
They're only human. You're right. I forgot about it too. I guess I forget too.
Your tolerance is like...
It's beyond
diminished.
Insane. It's diminished to nothing.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. So there you go.
If there's a little...
All right, what else, dude?
If there's half a pepperoni on my cheese pizza, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Okay, we did figure it out then. I can move forward now.
Shit, all right, scratch it. Delete it.
No, I'll use all of that. This is the journey.
This is good.
This is actually, you're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Dude, this is episode 1. I'm telling you. This is great. And so there it is. Look, okay. So it does it does this whole like 360 of...
So then I'm making up my own diagnosis.
Why? I am impatient. I don't... Do you do anything...
I'm impatient. But you knew that from the beginning.
I know.
You knew that was the answer. Oh, you just wanted me to find it out on my own.
I want you to seek it within you, Will. It's like the Yoda.
Found it I have.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to find patience.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. My bedside manner is bad right now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
No?
Bedside manner, yeah. It is. No, I just think you've been chilling. I'm curious. Do you do anything as far as like? Okay, let's just talk about hobbies. Let's talk about things that you're interested in, because I know it's kind of hard, right? So,
okay.
Have you ever done anything that forces you to patiently create something? Whether it's, let's say, okay, you remember building Legos. You get a Lego book, you have to flip it, and sometimes it's so easy that it's like, I've watched my kids with their Legos, and this is weird because I'm not trying to put a test on them, but I'm trying to figure out what kind of a builder they are, right?
Okay.
Do they separate all the colors?
So we're going with colors. Do they separate the shapes?
Or do they see a head of what they have to pull, so they pull all those pieces to the side?
So are they planners?
There's a lot of ways.
So are they planners?
Are they planners? Or do they brick by brick as it's coming, the instructions? You see what I'm saying, dude? Legos
you know who I am? Okay, unless you're following the instructions.
Right.
That's what I would try to do, because I've already gone through all the mistakes. But if there were no instructions...
So you literally want to go brick by brick of things, right? Which means you would have to have patience to know that, okay.
I don't have patience.
Okay. But so then you're not challenging yourself to build the patience. But you're a father. What has fatherhood taught you?
Nothing. Kids hate me.
Yeah.
They've ruined me, really.
Okay.
No, I think the editing, when I started learning how to
there
edit.
it is, editing. Okay, so editing.
That, you're like, geez, finally. No, my God,
dude,
this man is...
honing in.
You're so...
Lock in. Keep it there. Keep it there.
You're thinking yourself, he's still a human. He's still a human.
Fuck, he's only human. Okay, so let's hone on that. That's
I'm loving the editing stuff.
So that takes patience.
It does. But I'm having fun. Oh, I've spent hours doing it.
Okay.
Hours.
All right,
Stuff that I don't even like put out. Just messing around.
Okay.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't like to like move things. Like I want it to flow the way it is, but I want it to kind of have the sound, like the volume of it. I want to be able to cut it sometimes where the beat almost sounds like this person's
You
response
need to do
came off
more
of that beat.
You need to do more of that.
Well, I'm still doing that. Yeah, I should keep doing that. That's why I'm
More-
doing Copilot
more-
to me.
More of
It's
it.
not for anyone to listen to. It's just for me to do it.
So yeah, I feel like you need to do more of that so that it's a gym for your.
That's
you're
what I'm missing
working
out on.
You're working out that patience. You need to work out that patience.
You're absolutely right, but I'm just kind of mad. Like, I'm
You know
mad.
what?
I'm mad that
Fuck
you know
you,
it. I don't really
Yeah.
appreciate this.
I don't want to hear
I
that.
didn't walk in here for
yeah.
this. I came here to talk about my law practice,
Right,
not
yeah.
to get ripped up like this. I will leave.
Oh, please don't. Please don't. No. Leave the Pacificos. You can just let it get. Yeah, it's like, yeah. No,
I brought the beers.
no. So I think
I will take my beers.
because I personally had to work that out myself with tattooing, and I've been tattooing for so long that I started to fall out of the love for the tattooing, but I couldn't draw flash. I couldn't paint because I do that all day. I don't want to do that. So what do? I study it in depth and I watch what else to implement to this tool belt, which then I see I've seen the outcome of things, like pieces come out different. Things are implementing a little more different. Things are like, because you said, okay, expertise. I'm constantly trying to educate and expand that knowledge. I don't want to just be like, I'm solid with this much knowledge of tattooing. I'm good. I was plateauing, I feel like, with tattooing. Part of this, when I started doing the podcast and talking to artists and visiting these shops,
Oh, you're getting some knowledge
I was getting
that
like,
you're not even thinking about.
I needed that.
You're learning the things you didn't know you didn't know.
The way you need the edit is the way I needed that to reboost and respark and the patience was there because of like
Okay.
default. It was staple. I have to have the patience. I'm sitting there. You can be really static, or you're really static with working a case, a trial. I mean, it's really like up to the point where it's step-by-step process where it's like, okay, this happens, but there's still engagement, there's still proving a point, there's still this, there's pulling up files, pulling up.
I love doing all that. I love getting some reports. I love reading them. I love getting all the witnesses,
'Cause I was gonna ask
cross-referencing
you-
the statements. Whenever the statements are matching, they're not matching. There's different perspectives. They think they're matching. Sometimes people think they're lying. They're not lying. They're just seeing it from a different way.
Yeah.
That part is great. I love doing all of that stuff.
Right.
What gets ruined is when I start to get impatient because I'm not thinking, why aren't you understanding or seeing what I'm seeing?
Yeah.
Let me drive this car.
Yeah. Which we now found out. We come to conclusion of, we now understand.
How much do I owe you for this therapy session?
I was going to
Do you have a
ask.
couch in here?
Yeah, we do. We
No,
have two.
I mean like a
like
a therapist couch.
I
'cause
can get one in here.
I feel like I came in here and this is
No, this is good because I feel like this was. I could tell you.
Should I cry?
No,
Am I supposed to cry?
don't cry. Not on camera. No, that's not. Okay.
We edit the cry in or out?
just with the was it the Snapchat filters of
Where's camera one?
use that? Look at that. Look at your shot. Man,
why
it's
am I
been like
leaning
that
over
the
like
whole
this?
time.
My head is mighty shiny. I want everybody out there to know working through them. But let me get you to understand something. Anybody who's going through a legal issue I'm telling you, we're going to go good in that boat together. But don't rock it. And let me hold the paddle.
I'm your Popeye.
And I promise you, I know where the shore is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if you felt a plateau moment
Yeah.
where you've capped.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You know how to get out of that is
yeah. Yeah. And I have to humble myself and realize that I have not learned everything. And there's much more to learn.
yeah, for sure.
And there's many more issues to come. And
I'm sure.
I have to what I think sparks me is teaching law to someone else.
Okay.
And watching them go, oh, I love when people say, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
That's a reward.
That's a huge
That's your
reward.
dopamine
Because I'm like,
hit.
oh, yes, I made that connection that some people don't ever get to experience because they really don't ever see the law the way I do. And when things start to click, that's fun.
No.
But when I'm constantly saying it and if someone's not getting it, I'm thinking, man, is it me?
The mouse that
Stop rocking the boat.
knows a piece of cheese will come out if it presses the button. It doesn't come out anymore. What does it do? It walks away.
Does it?
Yeah.
I break the machine.
There's some
I stick
that'll-
my head in the hole. I want
there's
to
some
know
that'll
what's going on.
There's some that'll starve themselves to death thinking that the cheese is going to come. It's coming. one of these times. And another
That's
one.
me. It's me.
No, think of it. Then the one that walks away is the frustrated mouse. It's like, all right, something else. Like this thing's not working. I'm leaving. And it goes.
So the frustration was good for that mouse.
Yep. The other one's gonna starve and die because it thinks it's like
This is it.
the cheese comes every time I hit it. This is a legit study. Like they've studied mice, and part of that is compared to us humans that we get dopamine dumps, and then we don't get it, and we need something to boost. We need something to compensate that
And the
void.
monotony of what we're currently doing.
Yeah, this is great.
I feel like law is interesting to people, but it just really I can't make it interesting to people. There's all these like murder, mysteries and what happened with this serial killer, and then what happened in court. It's like everyone seems to love all of it. And I'm like, let me talk to you about the law. And they're like, boring. I'm like, the law is the best part. They want to know about the killing and the blood.
Do you study stories or hear stories and hear them out? Like if you ever tune into like let's say it's an Audible or some sort of a story from an attorney of a past client that has been just rewritten to kind of preserve.
Case law.
Okay.
Case law, yeah. You're
Okay,
seeing
so
all
case
the
law,
stories.
and then you'll actually be in tune to, I want to hear this out.
Yeah.
Okay. What keeps you locked in to that?
Just seeing the way the thought process works,
Okay.
where all of a sudden, one person's thinking this, another person's thinking that, and in case law, there's someone writing an opinion on something that happened, and all of a sudden you start to go, okay, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what this person said and this person said. Right. It all just kind of came together.
Can you do a case law yourself? Like, can you do something like that?
What do you mean?
Can you pull something?
Case law? Like you mean like Miranda? Right. Like that's a case.
So I mean like a case law of personal
and then bring it out
but not with.
You know what I've thought about doing is bringing old cases that are actually really popular and actually bring out the facts of that case. Oh, there's like really good, interesting old facts from old cases.
Can you do something that's in parallel to something that a topic that people aren't understanding?
Like right now, think about
relevance. Well, not right now, but I'm saying like to make a segment of saying, okay, here's this story, and tie it somehow to a most recent situation in your own like trials and your own. And just being like, okay, this is very.
Is that what's
similar.
interesting to people? Maybe I don't understand what's interesting to people.
Well, I'm just thinking. I'm again back on this idea on how do you describe it to someone that doesn't understand. You see what I'm saying? So like if you again bring up a story and just being like, this is very similar to this, and so I could put it into a because
that's what I used to do. I'm looking at you thinking, yeah, but that's what I used to do. But you're right. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. Come on, Alex.
You idiot.
We didn't build this studio for nothing.
Hey, the walls come out, the FBI comes out. What is this scam?
Get him. No,
we got him.
Yeah, no, I think.
Oh, man, I think you just helped my moment here.
I feel like that is what you need to do. You need to do that. The next, put things together, prepare it, organize it to,
You're right. Make like little.
Yes.
Make little shows of it.
Because I asked you, give me an example of a homicide and the murder, right? So
yeah.
So somebody doesn't understand something. Let's say it was the homicide, and you'd be like, okay, here's this case. This happened, specific thing, and I'm telling you right now, this happened with Linda, and she got murdered, or she committed this homicide
Let's do this. And then you react to what I'm telling you.
Okay.
And then you don't even have to plan much because then you could just react to it.
React, and I can. Then you could ask.
And you can give the layman person. I mean, you're actually smarter than the layman person, though. But I mean, the law and legal perspective.
Have you seen this waffle chandelier I got? I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding. But you know what I'm saying, though? I think that'll be.
I'm a waffle chandelier expert, and you insult me like this?
It's real felt, guy. No, I'm kidding. It's made of felt. The finest felt.
I'm not nothing.
Yeah. It's the finest felt, my friend. Yeah, feel it. Okay, it's like, feel this felt, friend. It's fire resistant. It's FR. Yeah, I think that's what you need to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're here to help, aren't you?
Yeah, dude. I genuinely want to, and I genuinely want to hear you out, and I want to know.
I feel like I'm wasting your time, though.
No, this is good. I'm putting the 4x4 under the Jeep tire that's stuck in mud.
Okay.
Like, come on, guy. Put it in reverse. Try it one more
You're
time.
the only one that sees it, though. You're the only one.
Because I see that there's an audience for it. And I know that I know what you meant about I need to, like you were saying, I need to like not advertise myself, but
I need to put myself out there.
Promote.
I need to start.
Because I'm doing the same thing. I'm promoting at a certain way.
I'm inspired by you.
So I'm trying to like, how can I, like, I'm the filter, right? How can I filter this, what I'm doing, and give you the same as I told the girl last night that's doing the therapy thing? Because I was literally sitting over here recording, and I'm telling her, talk about grief and how people should.
Was she talking into the camera?
No, she was talking to the camera as a solo thing.
Okay.
And she had a setup dope, like legit. And she's talking with therapist expertise and like her experience as a therapist with things that I'm telling her as far as topics. And I cut myself out, and it looks like she's having her own convo because this was so, like, I was like, we need to get you there. The same way I'm Dr. Dre, dude. I'm trying to sign y'all. This is Def Jam right here. What is it? No, we're Death Row Records right now. This is Death Row. Welcome to Death Row family. All right. So I'm over here and the DJ and so I'm literally telling her there's an audience for that. Like there really is. Like think about it. There's a lot of tags and algorithms that you can connect to that and also with what you're doing. And I would love to see you. I think what would help you is kind of what helped me is to connect with other attorneys. Doesn't matter if they were in town or not. And even imagine making it a goal to be like, hey, I'm in Madera or I'm in Stockton or Sac, wherever you go, these cases of Visalia, and tap into an attorney that somehow there's no sort of, obviously no conflict of too close to home,
right.
But just being like, hey, I just want to pick your brain. And then use that as a, hey, I guarantee you the another office will be the next guy that's like, hey, this will help you, this will help me. Because we're going to be able to reproduce this as a informational thing, promotional thing, and then but it's your platform, and it's like, and then you could do the Zoom thing. We could do it here. We could set it up to have the attorney from New York, Texas. What are you doing similar? Hey, reach out to them, email.
I need to start planning.
Okay.
You're right.
That's what we need to do. I can see you doing that, and I would love to hear that. To just you and James Williston from Houston, Texas, that is also a criminal defense attorney. It's like, hey, I have a podcast. Let's get on Zoom. Give me an hour and a half of your time. I have topics. I'll send them to you. Let's get together. What do you think? Yeah, that'd be awesome because it'll help. And send some. When we're done, send it to me. And be like, hey guys, look, I'm Abigail's Valle and check it out. And we talk about this topic, dude. There is a audience for that and a market, and that is, I think, what you need to dive into, like 100%. On top of what you're doing,
I'm listening to you, Coach.
No, I think that's literally.
I'm serious. I'm listening.
I think that's what I could see you doing that. And so attorneys are where you are. Like, okay, let's think about this. You might get like those OG attorneys, and a bunch of them.
I got a bunch of them.
Yeah, exactly. Have them come on. Dude. Bring them here. Have them come on. I'll produce it. You guys just sit, your show, you run it. I'll just shoot everything, shoot you the SD card. You go edit it. Let's do it. It's on camera. All right. I think that's what you need to do. And
Simon.